Hi guys, it's Alec here, and wanted to check whether we can find some of the fun in accounting. So when we look at accounting, we typically want to, we want to get some excitement out of it, and I think this is a way that helps us to do it here at MyBI. So hopefully that's also going to help you guys. So this is a demo database, and to help us identify gaps in our data. What helps is if we slice to the right month, we go to our income statement. And our income statement is obviously categorized and it's columnized. So it's got columns based on months of the year. So it's got both your financial period, which is 1 to 12, and it's got your calendar month, which is 2024-03 to 2025-02. And it's then spread across different rows, which is your classifications that you've set up in your client setup. But if we look at this, we can see a nice spread of data under the operational line. So let's maybe just start at gross profit. Gross profit is made up of sales minus cost of sales. You can see sales actually and cost of sales are spread throughout the year up to the end of the year. But if you look at operating expenses, you'll see that it's nicely populated, but over year it starts to become a little bit more choppy. So over there, for instance, we haven't captured our rent. And there's no salaries, for instance, captured for the month of February. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to show you guys how that is. Are you able to capture more regular and monthly expenses fast using MySuppliers? And specifically, we'll focus on rent paid and salaries for the month of February, and then this we'll do for the month of December, January, and February. All right, so let's quickly first have a look as to rent paid. What is the detail that comes in here? So if you look at, if you double click on the rent paid, you'll actually get to level 5 of your income statement. If you double click again, it'll tell you which e-types you've used. That's a purchases e-type, and that is the supply that we've used. So you can see up to here was actually incorrectly allocated. The telecoms supply was incorrectly allocated to rent paid, or it was part of it. Doesn't matter what it is, but there it stopped being allocated there, and it went over into this line over here. There you'll see it. And if I double click on that one, you'll see also it started ticking up slightly there. Okay, so let's just focus on then our expense supplier rentals. That's our supplier name there. And let's quickly go to my supplies. And the one thing you always want to make sure is that you want to see what is the month in which, or what is the day in the month in which we capture it. So you'll see every first day of the month we capture that data. You'll see the first straight through. So let's go to MySuppliers. All right, so MySuppliers helps us to capture data fast, and also using a template, it can create data much more in a structured fashion and also very fast. Okay, so let's first say, what do we want to capture? A supplier invoice. This takes your suppliers database and it makes it accessible to your user that uses MySuppliers. So these are all the suppliers that are loaded in this database in Pastel. So I'm going to do the rental supplier. And I've also done some structured referencing over here. So I'm going to say capture the rent, and the rent for, we just saw December wasn't there yet. So 2024, 12. And obviously you want to capture on the 1st, and I just want to go to my month there, December. Okay. So, oops, I didn't click that. There, December. Now we go here. You'll see that the templates will help us now. Instead of having to capture everything. So by the way, in your in your MyBI, you can, I've just drilled down here. I'm just going back to the income statement by clicking on that hyperlink to the top left. But if I go here to my rent paid and I just drill down to my lowest level, which is my actual item code that was used, I can go one level deeper by adding this GL description. That's going to add my description field to the bottom of my rows in my pivot table. And that tells me that there's a certain structure here. Every month I'm getting a 10,000 rand charge for my office rent, and the printer rent is 1,500. And there was some kind of surcharge here in the month of September. Now, this is the beauty of structured data versus typed data. So I'm going to show you how we do that. go here, just do that template there, rent paid. It's landing the structured data for me, office rent and printer rent. And that's why it's coming through so perfectly in this environment, because we are doing it through a template, a click of a button that lands the template for us. So let's go now. And that's done. It's giving me that date. So I'm just going to say, so process and keep. That's going to create a little text file for me that I can import into my Pastel. So let's just do all 3 months now. We want to do December. We said we want to do January, and we want to do February. So that's those 3 months that haven't yet been captured. Let's do the next month. Okay, I'm going to go back, go to January, and just update this date to 25 01. This has already been captured. I'm just going to process and keep it. And then the next one I'm going to do for February. So, of course, most of the time, if you've got a rental invoice, you'll actually populate that in the reference. I'm just doing a structured reference here because this is demo data. Go over to February. And then, that's already captured. Just change that to 02. And process and keep. Okay, so the last one I also want to do, I said I want to also capture salary. So let's do that one. This one is quite nice because it's a lot of data that happens very fast. So let's clear this all. Okay, keep my supply invoice. So now I'm going to do this against my salary control. It's going to be my salaries for the month. That's helping me to understand. I want 4 years, which means I want that structure and O2. The capturing is on the 25th, and that's obviously, it seems like it's gone up, but it hasn't yet. I'll just capture the 25th there of February, because that's the one we haven't captured. And this template is very extensive. So there's the entire template. It's going to land the data for me. Obviously, a lot of data that's landed. And now, if I look back in my structured data in my MyBI environment, you actually see how much value you get out of that structure. So you'll see it's also quite a choppy number. But if you look at the description, that structured referencing is really going to help us a lot. You can see here how it's populating the answers. It's giving us that net. You can see it was 140 and then went up. So there's obviously a new employee. Bonuses also is one of the reasons why it does change a lot. But over here, that's the same the whole time. So I'm currently looking at a 207 that was in January. And that means that there may have been a new employee. So a way for us to then see if there was a new employee, we use the unit of measure here to help us identify employee numbers. Okay, so that is available in the pivot table. I'm just going to call it up over here. It's already enriched in your GL, so I'm going to call it unit of measure. So there it is, and I'll post it straight here at the bottom. And you'll see there was actually an employee number 9 that was added. Okay, so employee number 9, what I'll do is I'll actually drag that one step up to there. Then I can see my employees, how much each of them earned. And there's my employee number 9's data now. So that's the new employee data that I want to add. So I've got a template here that says new. I click that at the bottom here. There it is added. I make that employee number 9. So I'll make a little comma, 009, just to make sure my leading zeros don't disappear. And I'll just go and process this data over here. Copy paste it over into this environment. Yeah, it seems to be, I think I may need to slightly change it around. Let's see if that helps. I don't think that 27,000 is the correct. That's a bonus. That's net. No, that's net. And that one there was the total. So that's UIF, SDL, pension. So it's actually only up to there. See, net, PAYE, SDL, UIF. And because it's not built in a alphabetic order, then it's not going to be 100% the same. So I'll fix that now for us. Pension seems to be slightly less, or pension is 192 and the UIF is 384. So it's other way around. Let's just fix that now. 192 and 384. Bonus at the bottom. All right, so now we've kept some space here for the bonuses. So what we can do is we actually can go and, like we typically use in Excel, we can use control. And because we're in an Excel environment, we can go and click it by adding all these empty cells. We can actually go and find them. And then let's say, yes, we want to give each of these people a bonus. So some of them have predetermined bonuses that we've loaded, and some of them have no bonus. But let's go and say this guy received 10,000 Rand, and these three people received 7,500 each. Okay, there we go. Process and clear it. Now the last step is obviously to bring this into Pastel because it's not yet there. A text file has been created in the normal header details structured fashion. If you click there, you'll see these little text files that have been created. This is your MyBI environment, and this is where you're going to import from. If I open it in Notepad, you'll see, let me just quickly double click on it. You'll see it's got the header structure and the detail structure. This is a 14 column structure over to there and 28 column structure to there. What we then do, we can actually, instead of having to import one by one, because there's obviously now 5 files in here, we can actually go and import it by, that one actually was a duplicate, it seems. I must have clicked it twice because I can see the rent twice there. So I'm just going to remove the second one. Yep, there we go. So that obviously is audited by your financial team before they import it. So I'm going to now go over here, and I'm going to go back to my suppliers, and to the header page, I'm just going to say, please hoover my text files into one single import file. Once I do that, it does a single file import for me, or a single file creation, which can be imported now into your Pastel. And I'm going to pop into Pastel, go here, supply invoice, and it's through the normal batch import functionality that we go in and we go and bring in this data that we just created. Okay, so on my computer, it's actually linked via Dropbox. So it's synchronized to this environment. There we go. There it is. It says March the 4th at 11 o'clock in the morning. During that hour it was done. So I'm going to bring it in. 4 must come in. 4 has come in. And if you go and look at any of this data, double click there, enter. There it is. And if I look at the salary one, which is obviously quite comprehensive, you'll see there's a lot of data over here. Okay, so quite a lot of lines of data, which would have taken very long to retype, but you've got structured data, which really is going to help you on your EMP 501 reconciliations and also your analysis. And then, easy as this, batch update. I'm not going to print it, and update. And tomorrow, when your data is refreshed, your MyBI will have this new data in it because it's usually on a daily frequency that data is updated. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that and see how you can actually use the environment of the apps to help you capture data faster and also analyze your gaps in your data. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.